Welcome to the Penalty Kick Podcast. I'm Mike Gio, and it is time to break it down. Time to break down these rosters of the San Diego Wave FC because it's kind of a new team. There's obviously some returners, some individuals that are coming back from, last year or even years prior. But there's a lot of new people on this roster, and there's a lot of exciting new people on this roster. So we're going to talk about the roster because the Wave FC are coming up on a preseason game, which happens on February 8th. I'm shooting this on a Wednesday, so we got about, 3 more days. That's February 8th is a Saturday, right? Yup. So Saturday is when the preseason starts. Also, the San Diego FC, the men's team, also starts preseason. It's in the Coachella Valley. So it's going to be interesting because we're going to get to see these players for really the first time playing together. Also, we're going to see how these new coaches bring their tactics to the field. And so we're going to break down the Wave FC roster. But if you have not done so already, like this video, subscribe, share it with your San Diego Wave FC fans. I know the women's game does not get enough shine, and this is actually probably a little more of my favorite podcast topic than San Diego FC. I've never been one of the biggest believers in the MLS, but I know the women's game in America we're one of the best leagues in the world, and we have some of the best talent in the world. I mean, the U.S. women's national team is obviously known for all their World Cups, all their gold medals. They just win. They're perennial winners. And the women's game and the talent in American women's soccer is absolutely insane. So let's pump up the game. Let's make sure we're showing out for these teams. Let's make sure women get the respect on that field that they deserve, because they deserve it all. But we need to break down this team because I'm just amped. I can't wait to watch a soccer game. So without further ado, what we do know is Jonas Eidval usually plays a 4-3-3 or a 3-5-2. Mentioned that in the other video. We'll get a little bit more into that, but I think he's going to play a 4-3-3 based a little bit on the roster, based on a back three isn't the most popular formations that happen in soccer currently, even though you do see some individuals do back three in the defensive back end of your formation. But I think he's going to default to a 4-3-3. So let's go through a couple of these players. We have some really, really good talent. I won't go through them all, but we got to break down the roster and see how the team's going to come together so we can pick a starting lineup, see how Jonas is going to set up, see how the tactics are going to unfold. So then when we watch the game, we can see, hey, is he doing what he's supposed to do? Are these players doing what they're supposed to do? How does the product on the field look? Preseason is going to be a little bit rough because you're going to sub a lot of players. People are going to go in and out. So you don't know exactly who's going to play with who, but it's going to get our first look. And then once we get into the regular season, things usually settle down with formations and things of that nature. We're going to start with the goalkeepers. You got to start with the stoppers. And we have an absolutely phenomenal goalkeeper, Kaylin Sheridan. Kaylin has been on our squad for years and has proven herself for years. She's, I think, up there in top goalkeepers in the world. Last year, I think, was a tough year, and there were a couple mistakes, a red card, some saves that she usually makes that didn't happen last year, but I think that was more indicative of the team as a whole than Kaylin Sheridan. So I love Kaylin Sheridan as a goalkeeper. The thing is, not the tallest goalkeeper. Obviously, you don't see, 6'2", 6'4", 6'6" goalkeepers in the women's game like you do the men's game. But usually you still, want them roughly around 6 foot goalkeepers. You want them taller so they can, hit those corners and make those diving stops, all the way to the right and left side of the goal. Kaylin Sheridan's 5'8", but what maybe she doesn't have in height, she has an IQ and just ability. She is just awesome. Her positioning is really, really well between the sticks, and she makes great saves. So love having her back there. She's actually going to be one of our stalwarts on the team. So love her back there. But got to do a quick shout out to one more goalkeeper. There's 3 on the roster, but I got to do a quick shout out to one more. Didi Haracic. Didi is Bosnian, so big shout out. My family is Croatian. which is the neighbors to Bosnia. So just wanted to send a shout out. I love having the Balkan culture in San Diego. I haven't met too many Croatians in San Diego, but love having, our people and our culture here, even though obviously, different countries, still very much a lot of love and a lot of appreciation for Didi, where she comes from, and her country as well. So just wanted to do a big shout out for Didi. Now we're going to get into who I think is really going to be in the starting lineup. And I think we got a lot of good players that can kind of be backups on this team, but a lot of them are really, really young. So what I know about them is from their college days and watching their highlights in college, but highlights are highlights. They only show you the good of what someone does. Highlights won't show you it all. And we know no one's perfect. And especially when we're talking about young individuals now playing in a professional game where the game is faster, stronger, more tempo, better tactics. It sometimes it's hard to transition, but I also know sometimes young people, Lamine Yamal is one right now from Barcelona that is just absolutely awesome. He's a youngster, and that dude balls out. Mallory Pugh, U.S. Women's National Team. I mean, she was heralded, from a very, very young age. I mean, Rodman was young. One of my favorite players in women's soccer, just period. Love the way she plays. She plays with flash, flair, speed, strength. She's chippy. I love that in a competitor. We have a lot of young talent, and we just need to see how they're going to play, if they're going to even get playing time. So, we might talk about a couple of those, but we're really just going to talk about the starting lineup. And, I think one individual that's going to be starting, Caitlin Tropey from Australia, decent all-around player, will probably play, obviously in the defensive backfield. So we'll start, going through the defenders. I think there might be some competition with her and Kennedy Wesley for a starting spot, but I'm going to go a little bit with Tropey right now, not only because year older, just a little bit more skilled on the defensive end, but also haven't seen Kennedy Wesley really play this year. So that could have changed. Young players grow very, very quickly. Perle Moroni, this is a baller, a big, big signing from France. Plays defense, usually plays left back. So, I'm going to slot her in on the left back position. Then on the opposite side, even though usually Kristen McNabb plays the left back position, but obviously you can't start two left backs. So I think they might slot into the right back position and then have Hannah Lundqvist get the second center back position. So you're going to have left back Perle Moroni, right back Kristen McNabb, Caitlin Tropey on center back, and then Hannah Lundqvist on center back. Then I think they're going to go three in midfield, and the three in midfield, I would do Kenza Dali, which is, I think this is going to be our star player in the sense that they're going to be on the ball a lot. They're going to be touching the ball a lot, making a lot of things happen. I think not only attacking the goal and shooting, but really facilitating offense, facilitating tempo, making all the right passes, down in between, defenders, making slick moves and just really getting everything started. But when you're in the midfield, you just have more opportunity to touch the ball and you can really impact the game in a whole lot of ways. And so I think she's going to be an absolute baller for us. Maybe not going to be the shiniest star because usually that goes to the forwards and the people that score a lot of goals, which I think we're going to have a baller up there too. So, Kenza Dali is going to be, definitely starting midfield without a doubt. We also have Savannah McCaskill. Savannah is not the fastest, but the physicality, the midfielder IQ, the skills, the ability to control games. This is big. If you play at your pace, you're likely going to have the best opportunity to win. If you play at the other team's pace, it's going to be really, really, really hard to win. So I think that's going to be big for Dali and McCaskill to control the game. We're also going to have Gia Corley in the middle. Passing and dribbling is her forte. So I can almost see McCaskill as, I don't want to say center defensive midfielder, but I can kind of see McCaskill in the center with Kenza Dali and Gia Corley kind of maybe on the wings, in the sense that the physicality is usually brought in the middle and you need it in the middle, and then the speed is on the wings. I think having the speed on the wings will benefit us, attacking wise, and will allow especially Dali to have more freedom to roam and kind of overlap and switch positions and kind of be a little bit more like water, as Bruce Lee would say, right? Flow like water, kind of find those spaces, those cracks. So I think that's going to be very important. On the left forward midfield, you're going to have Maria Sanchez. I think she had a rough year last year, not because she's not good, because she's a baller, but because she actually first came to the team was last year. So I think there's always an adjustment period. That's just how it happens. But also she's a left-footed left midfielder or left wing. So that's just dangerous when you can have a left footer on the left side and a right footer on the right side. Allows for, better crossing, usually allows for better attacking, and just it causes so much havoc sometimes to have that dynamic. Mackenzie Doniak-Robe on the right side, solid all-around attacker, good pace, dribbling, and shooting. So, just a really solid player, but I can't say the best skills at everything, right? Or this one skill that just shines through and through every game and is more dominant than other players. No, but she does everything really, really well, and that's how you get playing time. Be good at almost everything, maybe not always great at one thing. And then I think the star of the team, and again, the bright, shiny star, even though I kind of like Kenza Dali to be like the real leader of the team, but the star is always the one that's going to score the most goals. Delphine Casarino from France. Insanely fast. Good with the ball at her feet, passes good, and finishes well. She's not only good at everything, but she's great at a lot of things. That is the fun and exciting part, still in the prime of her career at the age of 27. So I expect her to score a lot of goals. I expect Maria Sanchez and Mackenzie Doniak-Robe to provide a lot of the havoc on the outside, a lot of the passes to Casarino on the inside and in the middle. But I want to see how they all work off of each other as well, because there can be such a fluid dynamic amongst forwards and even midfielders. But you can only do that if you're on the same wavelength, if y'all know where each other's going to be, how to work off each other, how to play with each other. And that's what the preseason is going to show us a little bit. But the regular season is obviously going to be the test to see how this all comes together, how Jonas puts it all together, because you have the starting lineup. You have all the players that you need to hopefully succeed. But will it happen? And so we broke down the starting lineup. We cannot wait. I cannot wait to see this team on the field, to see women's sports in San Diego continue to grow, continue to be more and more popular. And that's on us. It's on us to show up. It's on us to show out. Don't forget to subscribe, make sure to pass this along to your San Diego Wave FC friends and fans, because we're going to continue to do justice to the women's game. We're going to continue to respect the women's game. We're going to continue to enjoy the game of soccer, San Diego, and everything that this sport has to offer. So this is Mike Gio, and this is the Penalty Kick Podcast. We're going to see you in the next episode. Can't wait for it to happen.